I had a lot of confidence in myself. I never second doubted my capabilities. Very unpopular opinion, I would say, but handmade notes are important. You can take it from me. Studying 7 hours a day with highly concentrated study, you can score better. No need to study 10 hours every day. Study less, but study with concentration. What I did was I divided all the 19 subjects into 3 columns, which was strong.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Dr. Nikhil, and today we have yet another special guest with us, and that is Dr. Harsh here.
Hello guys, hello everyone. Thanks for having me here, Nikhil.
It's great to be on the other side, right?
Yes,
like,
it is great to be on the other
interviewed instead of watching an interview.
It is great because I always watch the videos, and now to give an interview is something else, and it feels like I've achieved something.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Dr. Harsh Gajjar. I have did my MBBS from Cooper Hospital, Mumbai. And I gave my INICET, November INICET, and my rank was around 1300. And in NEET 2023, I scored a rank of 179.
And we both were roommates, actually.
Yeah, we both were roommates, and we were both were study partners.
And tell a little bit about your hobbies too.
Okay, yeah. So it is very important to have hobbies, and I am a lot into art and dance. Being a doctor, you can maintain your hobbies as well. It is very important to keep your hobbies.
Otherwise, you'll just get drowned into all the studies.
Yeah, exactly. So that is it about me.
So Harsh also has an art page on Instagram. You can go check it out. I'll link it in the description below.
Thanks.
So just tell us about your journey in short.
Okay. So in MBBS, I made a point that I would read from standard books, Guyton, Robbins, everything from my first year. And made a point that I would not get into the IMPs. IMPs were for 1 month before the university exam. We had MEHS, so 1 month before I used to read all the important points only. But I made it a point that I would read standard books and gain concepts from them, because I knew it will help me in my career also, and definitely NEET-PG, it will help a lot.
So this is an important thing. This is very overlooked, but reading standard books during MBBS is actually important.
Yeah, it is. Cannot stress more enough upon that. Then, first of all, I knew that internship in our college was a bit strict. We had to attend every posting. So I had made up my mind that I would make a positive out of it and do my internship quite religiously. So I did my internship, gained a lot of practical skills, as everyone in our college has practical skills, and they are benefiting from it in NEET-PG or in their residency. So I did my internship properly. I tried to study.
So internship में तो हमने बहुत रोना किया था, but actually it was all very worth it in the exam. Yes. Trust me, it is.
Yeah.
And there's one more thing. You had also thought of doing PLAB, right?
Yeah,
going to the UK.
Right.
So what was your process behind that?
Okay, so mid-internship, I had my friends also. So we thought about going PLAB, thought about going to a different country, studying there, maybe come back again. But that was in future. So I had lost 5 to 6 months in my PLAB prep and thinking about PLAB, researching about PLAB. So that is why my NEET studies took a hit. So, but eventually when I researched about PLAB, it was not suitable for me. I found that out. So then before my NEET-PG, that was in May, I started my prep in April. So that was 1 month. So
right, 1 month before.
Yeah, that. Right, 1 month.
Both of us started seriously at that time.
Exactly.
Just imagine this.
Yeah. So I started my proper prep 1 month before NEET-PG in May. So I thought even if it is 1 month, I should give it 100%. So I studied for 12 to 14 hours in that 1 month, and then I got a rank of 14,000, which was obviously I was not happy with that. But it was expected, yeah.
But ऐसे हमने give up नहीं किया कि like अरे 1 महीना ये है क्या क्यों पढ़ना है. You get that experience, वो exposure मिलता है और उससे आगे वाली preparation में help होती है.
Exactly. आपने पढ़ के अगर NEET-PG दिया तो आपको थोड़ा पता पड़ेगा कि next NEET-PG में क्या करना है. ऐसे छोड़ मत देना कि नहीं है अभी टाइम नहीं है तो क्यों पढ़े. Maybe you can get a good rank.
And internship भी हमने अच्छे से करी तो उसकी वजह से कुछ questions में help हुई. जैसे NRBM mass वाला question है, I mentioned it in one of my videos as well. So that was something we saw every day in internship. So it was nothing new for us.
Exactly.
Right?
You learn by doing. I did not need to remember the purple and the yellow INICET वाला.
कुछ colleges में internship करते नहीं है, I guess.
हाँ.
So
तो उनको वो याद रखना पड़ता है, but we did not have to remember those things. Yeah, we had it on fingertips.
So after internship, both of us had to repeat again. So yes. Technically that was a 1 year repeat. So what were your feelings about that? Like, did you feel bad that you didn't get selected in the first time? Or
no, I did not feel bad. Ulta opposite. I was very motivated that अगर 1 month पढ़ के 14,000 rank आया, so I would definitely score very good. And I had a lot of trust in myself कि एक month पढ़ के हो गया तो फिर 9 months would do wonders. And that was my confidence in myself and my capability. So I told Nikhil कि यार अभी करते हैं, फोड़ना है, नीट में निकालना है.
अभी तो फोड़ना
है. So it was wonderful कि हमारा mindset पहले से positive था. So
that's one thing कि similar mindset वाले लोग partner रखना makes a lot of difference.
Don't मतलब keep your partners who are equally motivated. So when you are low, they pick you up and ask you to study, or they compete with you.
Yeah.
And I was very lucky that Nikhil was my partner.
Yes. In fact, even after preparing for just 1 month, and I think we had given just 2 grand tests, right? 2 or 3 grand tests, right? So even after that, actually we scored very well. Like काफी लोग हमें बोले थे कि अरे भाई 1 महीना prepare किया, फिर भी got a pretty decent rank. So that motivated both of us a lot.
So maybe वो जो rank what I got, maybe because it was all these years in my MBBS I had studied properly. So my concepts were good, the facts were not. If your concepts are good, you will score it anyways.
So right? This is an emphasis actually कि even during MBBS you have to study. Like many people waste all of their MBBS. पूरे MBBS में सिर्फ time pass ही करते हैं. And then they expect कि last में 6-7 months में निकलेगा NEET-PG. Maybe निकल सकता है, but उसका chance.
हाँ, मतलब you will have to work harder than your peers who have studied.
And your burnout chance increases if you work for 10 to 12 hours every day. More on that later in the video. So we'll talk about the strategy थोड़ी देर में, लेकिन what was your mindset that you followed? Because mindset is actually pretty important. So if you have like what they call a winner's mindset, then it increases the chances of success. So what mindset did you follow?
Yeah. So my mindset was very positive from day one, and I told Nikhil, I remember कि Nikhil यार we are मतलब ऐसे we are good students, yeah. But मैंने सोचा कि why can't we score above 100 rank? Exactly. Why should we not aim for that?
मतलब ऐसे we can't picture ourselves there. Like we see these interviews and we think of them as a different league.
Exactly.
So why can't we be there?
You have to picture that to be there, to get there one day, and even if you don't get there, you will be in a better position than you ever imagined.
Like aim for 100 and get 90%, something like that.
Yeah. So aim for better, and always there was a positive mindset, and I had a lot of confidence in myself. I never second doubted my capabilities. I knew that if I give my hard work, if I sacrifice a few things in this 9 months, I will surely succeed. And I thought I had to prove many people right, what they trusted me. So I had to prove them right, my parents and all. So that is a very nice touch to it, that you can make everyone happy around you.
And it's something about like visualization, manifestation, right? Just imagining yourself after the exam getting a really good rank.
Exactly.
How
so
good it would feel.
On the low days, I had those things on the back of my mind that I have to score top 100 rank or top 200 rank. So whenever I was feeling that I should give up today, it's okay to give up, then those noises kept coming back. You have to study because you want to score a good rank.
And there are low days. It's not like you are at your peak at all times. There are always low days, but you have to pick yourself up and you have to keep going.
Yes, and for that, a good study partner like Nikhil is very important for that.
So another thing is also about motivation. So how did you keep yourself motivated? Like, how did you do it?
So motivated, I mentioned that I had to score a rank, prove everyone right, make people happy, and also for myself, I wanted to achieve something. But there are days when motivation is not enough. But on those days, I think discipline is enough. Too much philosophy. But yeah, on those days, discipline is enough. Because there were days when I didn't want to study for 1 hour or 2 hours or even entire day. But I was disciplined enough to study for 7 hours on that day also. So consistency and discipline matters more than motivation.
So it's like you can't just rely on motivation, right?
Yeah.
Even if you're not feeling like it, some days you just have to get up and just go on with it, right?
Exactly. No amount of motivational videos can give you motivation constantly. Discipline
Unless you
matters.
keep it from your inside. Your discipline should come from your own self. So chalo, enough about that. Now let's come to the strategy that you followed after internship. How did you begin the process? Just explain us your process from start.
Okay, so first thing first, you have to know how to build your strategy, and for that you have to find a good, trustworthy mentor. So that is what I did. I found a mentor. She was a senior from my college, and I trusted her with all of my heart. So I trusted her, and it came through. All the advices she gave, those were wonderful, and yeah, by luck I succeeded. So
no, not just luck, man. There was a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't realize it now, but काफी मेहनत करी थी.
Yeah. So bottom line is find a mentor, trust him or her, and then follow that path. So I started my NEET prep in July, I started in June end, but I was gaining my momentum.
Yeah.
As soon as I gained my rhythm, that was in July, then that would be the time I started my prep very seriously.
So there's so fine line, like you start from June, sometimes you need a 10-15 days period to warm up and just to get in the momentum.
Yes.
So you also have to consider that.
Don't be hard on yourself. You'll take a few days to gain momentum and study for 7 hours, 8 hours a day. So I'll break this up to make it simpler. There is a long-term strategy and there is a day-to-day strategy or a short strategy. So first of all, I'll start with my long-term strategy. My senior told me that it is desirable to give a 5 read or to all the subjects. 5 read is desirable. So I planned on completing 5 reads, which I succeeded doing.
So it's like your first read and then 4 revisions, right?
First read and 4 revisions,
okay,
yes.
Alright.
So I'll break it up. So first read is 90 days. Then first revision, you can say, is 45 to 50 days. And third is 30 days. Fourth is 20 days. And the last one is 10 days plus 1 to 2 days for all the last minute read that you want to do. And these 90 days, first 90 days, you can give yourself some grace period and extend it up to 100 days max. So
like you couldn't stick to them like point to point, right? There
no,
was
no point to
plus
point.
minus always. Right?
Yeah, you have to give yourself that space, man. Naito you'll get stressed about studying. And follow this 90 days, 45 days, 30, 20, 10. So I would give some insights about your first read. So first read is for 90 days, so you have to read all the subjects from cover to cover, read all your notes from cover to cover, all the nitty-gritties of the subject,
right.
all the concepts, develop concepts, imbibe the concepts in your mind, and so that's
very important. Yeah,
that
if your
is very
concepts
important.
are clear, then your revision will be faster, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that is very important. In the second read, you can also read cover to cover, but you have to do it in a fast manner. And in the first and second read, you have to highlight the important points, so that in your third read, you can read only the highlighted points and all the most important points. And in the third read, you can start making your own concise notes, which I did for myself, which was very unpopular opinion, I would say. But
the opinion was that everyone looked for like DVD or revision videos, like some ready-made resource, right? But making your own notes, even I feel, I emphasize it in every of my videos, that it's very important.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Like, is that the same take you have?
Yeah, so first of all, handmade notes are important, and this concising your notes, I would say that you should, if you can concise, I had an iPad, so I concised my notes and I read those concise notes in my second last and last revision, which helped me a lot. So I would say if you can concise, then concise, otherwise DVT is a great option to do a rapid revision in your later part of your study.
You didn't use DVT at all, right?
No, I did not use. I had a FOMO, but then I fought against it, and I was telling him that भाई कुछ छूट नहीं रहा है ना.
Yeah, exactly.
पर फिर मैंने सोचा कि नहीं, मैं sufficient बना दिया है मेरे हिसाब से, trust किया, and then I read it, तो फिर आ गया.
Like phone पे when I started DVT हमारी बात होती थी, मैंने उसको बोला DVT start किया, and he used to feel betrayed, like what? मैं क्या करूँगा? मेरा कहाँ से होगा?
Yes.
But see, in the end it ended up being fine because he made his own concise notes, and those are very effective.
Yeah. So the bottom line is have concise notes for your second last and last read. Concise notes are very important because it is impossible to read everything in the last part of your prep. If you want to know how to make concise notes, he is the right guy. You will find a video.
I made a video on that actually. You can check it out if you want to. So in summary, you have to read your main notes and make your concepts firstly, and then keep toning it down and keep making your content shorter so that you have a concise notes at the end to revise, right?
Yeah, correct. That is the plan.
So that's a long-term strategy. You also mentioned the per day strategy. So how did your typical day in your life look like during preparation?
Yes. So this would be a little bit odd, but my per day was different, slightly different. So I woke up at 6 a.m. I went to the gym. I am very passionate about. So I went to the gym, did workout for 1.5 hours. You can do gym properly, and your physical activities keep your mind activated also. And started my study around 10 a.m. Then studied for 4.5 hours. Had lunch, and then after that I studied for another 3 to 4 hours in the evening period. So I studied for my main thing that I would say I would study for 7 to 8 hours a day, and did not try to do overkill it. Not 10 hours every day.
So that's one thing that I want to emphasize here. Like, is it necessary to study more than 10 hours a day every day?
Definitely not. So, you can take it from me. Studying 7 hours a day with a focused study plan and highly concentrated study you can score better. No need to study 10 hours every day and burn yourself out. Okay, so study less but study with concentration. And what you can do is you can follow techniques like Pomodoro. Study for 30 minutes, take a 5-minute break. Study for another 30 minutes, or study for 1 hour, take 10 minutes break. That is what I followed. So whenever I started my study, I planned to revise for 1.5 hour in the morning itself. So whatever topics I felt were volatile, which I read yesterday, I used to revise first thing in the morning, and so that revision does not take a hit. So do revision first thing in the morning for 1 hour at least, and then start your regular study which you have lined up. And other thing is, Q banks are very important. So I used to solve 8 to 10 Q banks every day. So 8 to 10 Q banks you can solve, and you have to solve Q banks whenever you are fresh. Don't solve Q banks when you are tired or you feel like I don't want to study anymore. Q banks are equally important. So whatever you solve, all the corrections you have to add them in your notes. Right. So that I felt is very important to add it in your notes.
One more question which many people have is it necessary to solve all the Q banks?
No, it isn't. So. It isn't. I don't think it is necessary. So in Marrow there were 800 Q banks.
829, I think.
Yeah, 829. So I solved 500 Q banks, which I thought were a bit extra. I could have solved 400 Q banks. So I stopped doing Q banks in December. My exam was in March, so I stopped doing it in December. Then I started doing custom modules. And after that, I started doing only PYQs 1 month before the exam.
So that's you have to keep distilling your strategy as the exam keeps coming closer, right?
Keep changing your strategy. You have to keep changing your strategies. And so my typical day would look like 1 hour revision, 3 to 4 hours the proper subject study in the morning, 2 hours MCQs, and maybe if I have the energy, then 1 more hour study. So you can add 7 to 8 hours to that.
And this was not continuous, right? 3 to 4 hours study session. Was it continuous or with breaks?
No, it was not continuous. I used to do things to unwind. So I studied for 1 hour, then took 10 minutes break, and I can do anything I want. But you should do things from which you can come back. You are not, your mind is not in that.
Not anything very, very distracting.
Not anything very distracting. So 1 hour study, 10 minutes break, 1 hour study, 10 minutes break. And that's how 4 hours go by. I think it is according to you what timetable you set, but even if he didn't wake up early, but he had a proper schedule. So I also had a proper schedule.
The sleep schedule I think is very important, right? Having a good night's sleep every day.
Definitely. Sleeping 7 hours every day is very important. So maintain a schedule and stick to it for the rest of your life.
Yeah, because it is only during sleep that all the concepts are strengthened in your mind. The bottom line, sleep is really important, so don't miss out on it. So actually we were targeting NEET, but we also appeared for INICET. So how was your preparation study? Like how did you switch to INICET preparation?
Actually, you don't need to switch per se, but what you need to do for INI is you need to read the PYTs, that is previous year topics, and do the previous year questions. So the basic medicine remains the same, but you just need to curate your study according to INI. That is what I would say. But there is nothing specific. You just have to go into some really deep facts about biochemistry. All the first year is very important.
First and second year.
Are very important, so you have to focus on that. And speaking of that, I was focused about NEET only because I wanted to take surgical branches.
Spoiler alert.
So then I thought, why not INICET? And my friend also motivated me to give INICET. They are central institutes. No one would deny that. They are peak of institutes. So midway, while I was prepping, I thought that I should give my INICET exams. And
so like 1 month ago, I think we started the rapid revision, right? For INICET.
So my INICET was in November. Then I started it in October, rapid revision. So because of that, I could get a rank of 1300.
In fact, we had very close ranks. We had 2-3 ranks difference.
2-3 rank difference.
I was 1319 and you was I think 1323. Yeah. So similar strategy, similar ranks. You can see how it reflects in the ranks as well.
And after INI, I took a break of 5 days to unwind and then to start again. But remember, the break should not be long because you will lose your rhythm sort of.
One more question which many people have asked me is about the sources, which sources I use. So, which sources did you use during your preparation? I think we use the same sources more or less, right?
Yeah, we use the same sources. So, don't be in FOMO. you have to stick to whatever you use. So
Yeah.
what I used is
He's just setting his sources now. You don't have to necessarily follow those only. If you like them, then by all means go ahead.
exactly.
So yeah.
So what I used is my notes were from DAMS and DAMS only. Only 2 subjects, and that too very few topics like toxicology from FMT and majority of PSM, because I did not have good PSM DAMS notes. So I would say DAMS notes were very crisp and concise. I don't feel the same about Marrow. They are very vast. You can differ in opinion, but I think DAMS notes were very great.
I remember before NEET 22, one of our friends was like hogging up that Marrow notes the night before the exam. He was like, इतना बड़ा क्यों बनाया इन्होंने?
हाँ वही है. तो वो है, तो फिर आप सिर्फ मतलब आप फॉलो करो जो आप कर रहे हो, अभी चेंज मत करना. But I found DAMS not good.
So if like you're an year from prep, like whatever exam you're preparing for, if you're an year away from it, you can decide sources, experiment. But if you're 6 months, 5 months closer, I'm like,
if you already have notes, then don't change it.
Yeah.
Try to concise it. So this is about notes. About Q banks and all the tests which I gave were from Marrow. So Q banks, subject-wise tests were from Marrow. Test and discussion was from DAMS. DAMS has a very good test and discussion. But I would say you need to give one test and discussion of any institution you want, but give test and discussion. And GTs were from Marrow. So one thing I would like to add up here is that if you are solving Q banks from Marrow, preferably solve your GTs from other thing like DAMS or Bhatia or Prep Ladder, so that you get a variety of questions, or T&D from there. So your questions, the amount of questions, the variety of questions
there are different types of questions, right?
For different. So you won't have a bias while solving your GTs. You will feel Marrow के Q bank कर रहा हूँ तो इसमें marks ज़्यादा आएंगे. Definitely.
That's a bias, huh? That's actually a bias. Like you do Marrow questions and the grant tests are the same type of questions, so you perform better in them.
Exactly. आप जितना Q bank solve करोगे आपका score बढ़ेगा, but that might not be actual.
That might not be the whole truth.
Yeah, that might not be the whole truth. So solving Q banks and grant tests from a single source would not be the best thing. If you solve Q banks from
not a good yardstick.
Yeah, it is not a good measure of your prep, even if your score is increasing grant test.
So one more deciding point here is subject prioritization, right? Which subject to do first and which to do last. So how to decide that?
Okay, so before I started my prep in June, what I did was I divided all the 19 subjects into 3 columns, which were strong subjects, weak subjects, and subjects that I've never read from my notes. So that is how I knew what subjects I had to focus on more. And some subjects like ANAT, Biochem and Physio, you should do it first. So first point would be divide your subjects into 3 categories. And second, try to keep your first prof subjects in your first part of your prep. Like in 90 days, complete your first 3 subjects like for ANAT, Physio, Biochem and Patho in first half of your prep.
Alright, okay, like first, second years in the first half of prep.
Yeah, preferably. Another strategy can be that you can join similar subjects, like you can do ANAT, surgery and ortho together. You can do physio, pharma, medicine and pediatrics together.
Right.
You can do, and patho also.
Like batch similar subjects together.
Like yeah, you can group them and do it, because you'll have your base from anatomy and then you'll apply it in ortho and surgery.
In fact, I remember doing this. Like I used to do a system-wise thing. Like, for example, I'm doing renal. I'll do renal physio, then renal patho, and then renal medicine.
Yeah, that is another great.
That's one more thing.
You can do system-wise and you can do subject-wise. So my strategy was subject-wise. His was system-wise.
System-wise for a while, but then ultimately subject-wise.
Yeah. So I did ANAT. Then Biochem was my strong subject, so I kept it at the last. So I did ANAT, and then physio, patho, micro, all those subjects. So you get the point. Like keep your strong subjects at the end and start with your weak subjects, so you develop concepts in that first. So you are out of your comfort zone, right? You're out of your comfort zone, and then you study those weak subjects and make them strong.
Yeah. So if you read your strong subjects initially, that will only make you feel good. Like sometimes ऐसा करते हैं कि strong subject अच्छा लगता है तो यार यही पढ़ लेते हैं.
वही करते रहो. कुछ लोग मैंने देखा है कि बायोकेम आज पढ़ रहे हैं एंड फिर एक हफ्ते बाद दूसरा पढ़ रहे हैं, बट बायोकेम काफी इंटीग्रेटेड है, तो कंप्लीट बायोकेम एक साथ, कंप्लीट एफएमटी एक साथ,
थोड़ा पेशेंस लगता है उसमें,
थोड़ा बोर हुआ तो भी यू हैव टू कंप्लीट इट इन दोस 3 days ओनली.
That consistency is important.
Yeah, and about subject, how many days to give a subject, he'll share a snippet of my whatever I had planned.
Yeah, he had made a plan. I'll just I think link it on the screen here or in the description.
So the big subjects like medicine, surgery were for 10 days, and that was for 6 days, like that. So the short subjects were for 3 days, and biochem for 5 days. So according to your strong and weak subjects, give time accordingly.
Right. And like if you're consistently performing well in one subject, you can even keep it at the last. Like for example, radiology को कितना दिया?
Radiology, I read it only once, and that too during my 3rd revision, because ऐसा लग रहा था कुछ तो miss ना हो जाए.
Both of us like neglected on radiology. I gave only 1 day for radiology, I remember.
Because radiology सब जगह cover हो जाता है.
Yeah, surgery में radiology cover होता है, and ortho में अलग cover होता है उनका bone वाला. It's the same thing basically.
But हाँ, मतलब ऐसा है कि you have to still read the theoretic part.
That MRI and that CT वाला part, right?
तो end में बस वो पढ़ लिया तो फिर it's sufficient.
And if you're not able to decide what your weak subjects are, of course, a good way to do that is by grant tests, right? So let's come over to grant tests only. It's a very important part of the preparation, right? So how would you place the importance of grant tests?
Grant test is up and above studying your notes.
Yeah.
Because how will you test what you have learned? You have to test whatever you have learned, right? So grant test in the first phase of your prep, like 90 to 45 days, जो 2 revisions है, you can give 1 grant test each month. Then gradually after you are accustomed to it, then you can increase it 2 grants per month, then 3, and then eventually 4 grant tests a week, like every Sunday you can give. Right. So I would like to say that if you're giving 1 grant test for NEET, then give another grant test for INICET.
Right, that's one more question which people have asked. Like, is it necessary to give both these grant tests?
Yes, because you get all the levels of questions. Like INICET questions are difficult, but they are difficult and they are also thought-provoking. So your mind is made such that you can, if you don't know the answers in INICET, you can develop the skill of selection, elimination.
And so like these tests, and in fact the NEET exam in general is not only about your knowledge, it's a lot about like strategy of solving, right? How to solve, how to eliminate.
How you have to eliminate 3 options, because every option is correct.
As long as best correct option, not the absolutely correct one.
You have to find the best answer. So there's a skill to that also. If you don't know, then you can find a.
कितने सारे तो elimination से ही आते हैं, मुझे पता तो होता नहीं है. That's one thing.
And one thing I would stress that give your grant test at 9 AM only. मतलब जब exam होगी.
Give them at the same exam time.
I don't know about next, but if your exam is from 9 AM to 12:30 PM, so every Sunday give your test like that. So you are accustomed. हॉल में जाके कभी ऐसा लगेगा नहीं कि यार ये क्या कर रहा हूँ.
राइट.
आई रिमेम्बर आई यूज्ड टू गिव ग्रैंड टेस्ट ऑन मतलब 1 to 2 PM को स्टार्ट करता था, लंच के बाद सब सो के, बट देन ही एडवाइस मी कि started at 9 AM, तो फिर सिमुलेशन जैसा हो जाएगा, सॉर्ट ऑफ
एग्जैक्ट सिमुलेशन हो जाएगा.
तो वो इट हेल्प, मतलब नीट हॉल में जाके ऐसे एंजाइटी भी नहीं हुआ, कभी भी कुछ भी नहीं हुआ. आई डिड नॉट फील लाइक alien environment में आ गया.
Like you get so used to giving a test at that time, just simply go there and give it and just come.
And you also learn how to manage your time. Okay, so you also learn how many questions to keep for review, how many questions you are actually doubtful. You also learn to trust your intuition.
And of course the most important thing about giving grant tests is reviewing them, right? So how did you do that? What was your process?
So I gave a grant test in morning 9 AM. And if the review was available that day, so I reviewed it that day itself, or within 3 days. If I didn't feel like reviewing it all the subjects in one, so within 3 days you have to review the grant test. मतलब एकदम end तक मत रखो, analyze करके खत्म कर दो, add कर लो points, whatever it is.
What strategy did you follow while solving? Like, did you solve all questions at a stretch and then skip questions, or like what did you follow?
Okay, so I followed questions as they came. Like my mindset was कि ये क्वेश्चन है, इस पे फोकस करना है. पास्ट एंड फ्यूचर वाला क्वेश्चन जैसा भी आए वो नहीं. तो इफ 10 क्वेश्चंस आर बैड, देन डोंट थिंक कि यार ये 10 चले गए और ऐसा. तो जो क्वेश्चन है उस पे फोकस करना है, रीड एवरीथिंग केयरफुली, एंड यू शुड हैव सॉर्ट ऑफ अ बर्ड आई व्यू. मतलब थोड़ा केस समझ लो, तो फिर लास्ट पॉइंट पे आ जाओ, दैट व्हाट आर दे एक्चुअली आस्किंग. And then you can go back to reading the question. तो तुमको पता पड़े that what you have to find in these, what critical information you have to find in that question. कभी कभी ऐसे भी हो सकता है you can read the options first, so you understand what the question is about, या कौन से subject में से है.
Right.
So these tricks you will learn by doing, इसलिए GT ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा.
Yeah, you learn them only by giving GTs. Like हम कितना भी बोले वो तू करके ही समझेगा तुम्हें.
हाँ.
And we gave marrow grant test, but हमने CBT भी लगाया था, right? Damn CBT.
लगाया था. तो मतलब मेरे लिए तो आई ओपनर था because I was scoring very well in marrow GTs. But then the second and the third CBT, first was good, but second and third CBT I was not aware, but I was lacking in my studies and I got a very bad rank. I got 30,000 में से 5,000 या 3,000 ऐसा रैंक आया और इसका 3 digits में आ रहा था. 200 and then 74.
Yeah.
So I was that day I was so depressed. ऐसा बुरा लग रहा था कि यार इसका आ गया, मैं jealous भी था.
Yeah.
But then it was an eye opener. I had to change the strategy a little bit and focus करना था short subjects पे because that is what achieves you rank.
Right.
So I changed that and hopefully उसकी वजह से सब अच्छा हो गया.
So यहाँ पे मैं emphasize करना चाहूँगा कि one grand test का score does not define your final exam, okay? क्योंकि इसका खराब आया था, but instead of getting discouraged by it, what I did was he took what I can do from it, मेरे weak subjects क्या है, क्या कम पढ़ रहा है, right?
Exactly.
And then उस पे work किया instead of just crying on it.
Yeah, so prep बहुत ऐसे sinusoidal है कि कभी अच्छा होगा, कभी बुरा होगा, but ऐसा सोचना है कि this bad thing is also good for you. Because you have to learn your mistakes.
Like खराब GT score is even better. You understand what your weak points are, right? You are not in a fake joy कि अच्छा जा रहा है.
Final में खराब है उससे अच्छा पहले मतलब एक month पहले खराब हो जाए तो अच्छा लगा.
It's better even, right?
And also that day I would not deny कि मैं बहुत बुरे mood में था. The entire day I could not sleep because बुरा लगता है. But next day I thought कि I would not be a loser या victim mentality नहीं रखनी है. I would change things and then fortunately हो गया.
And one more important period during this exam preparation is the last 10 to 7 days, right? वो फट जाती है उस period में. So उस time में like how did you do?
Yeah, so it was easier for me because I had made my own concise notes. So last 10 days में मैंने मेरे concise notes बनाए थे. I just read those. The concise notes which I made were useful because I could do medicine and surgery also. And honestly, surgery mein there are some things which you don't remember, like CAP classification, all the classifications. So
वो तो question अपना गलत होना चाहिए.
Yeah, that's wrong है फिर भी. But yeah, you need to have notes last 10 days में concise notes so that you can revise it. My concise notes were good, so because of that I could revise 3 to 4 short subjects in a day. So ENT 3 hours 2 hours में हो गया, Optal 3 to 2 hours में हो गया, Psychiatry 1 hour. Yeah, so that is how you go about it. Make concise notes and stick to that. Nothing else is required. And maybe एक GT you can give or you might not, but that is up to you how your prep is.
Like मैंने last GT 7 days before exam दिया था.
हाँ, तो मैंने 10 days के पहले 11th या 12th day पे दिया था. फिर उसके बाद I decided I won't give GTs. अभी बहुत हो
गया. अब सीधा एग्जाम में देख लेंगे.
और last 2 days में ऐसा था कि I had made 20th notebook which he has mentioned in his videos. So I introduced the 20th notebook concept to him.
Yeah, I didn't know this first. I got to know it from him.
So 20th notebook in short is all the mistakes that you make in GTs, you jot it down in a 20th notebook and all the classifications,
whatever all the volatile, key important points, volatile stuff, right?
So last 2 days were reserved for doing 20th notebook only. So
and the doubt which a person has कि 20th notebook का source क्या है, तो खुद से ही बनाना पड़ेगा, right?
हाँ, खुद से बनाना पड़ेगा. It is from your GT and your mistakes only.
If at all for some reason you couldn't get the time, then you can use rapid revision and वो बाकी सब चीजें.
हाँ,
but वो in second option है, right?
Yes, it is second option. First option is to make it yourself only. I cannot stress upon handwritten notes का importance enough. और last day पे तो बस prayer ही चल रही थी कि जो पढ़ा है वो आ जाए. But also, I think hard work generates luck. So I would like to give example कि last जो concise notes में मैंने last day पे लिख के रखा था कि these are the points that I have to read. So luckily I had read the topic of letharism and the question was asked which vitamin is used for profile axis of letharism. It was a factual question मतलब तभी के लिए. So मैंने vitamin C डाला and I knew I had read it, so I could easily mark it.
ये चीज मेरे को बिल्कुल भी याद नहीं थी. I just left that question instantly.
Yeah, so you generate your luck. अगर
Right,
concise notes से
right.
facts सब है ready, so you can generate.
So it's
your
like
luck.
ठीक है, there's a variable luck factor too, but you can generate your own.
हाँ, some amount.
And so your volatile subjects also get covered. तो ये volatile subjects और odd questions जो है इसका, like, what do you have to say about that?
I think volatile subjects you have to do it at the end. मतलब आप कितना भी अच्छे से कर लो, you have to do these subjects at the end so that you remember the fact. So you cannot do medicine, surgery एकदम end में, but you have to do short subjects, FMT, biochem, pharma, and for some people anat. But for me anat was not my volatile subject. It was like very dear to me.
Yeah.
तो मैंने वो हो गया.
So like some subjects are known volatiles, but for you another subject can also be volatile, right?
Yes,
That's one thing.
So second last revision में what you can do is keep your volatile subjects at the end of your second last revision, and then at the end of last revision again keep your volatile subjects.
Right.
So
I remember मैंने pharmac पहले किया था, but you had kept it in the end, right?
Yeah.
Because it was more volatile.
Yeah, so I kept it in the end. तो एक bizarre question था on losartan. उसका fat profile या ऐसे कुछ तो था उसमें, lipid profile पे वो इफेक्ट नहीं करता है or something like that. तो I got that correct. तो वैसा कुछ हो सकता है.
वो भी मेरा गलत हो गया.
हाँ, वो लक हो सकता है.
So see like these two questions जो है ये इसका extra correct हुआ इसमें, like इसका concise notes का इतना difference आया, like those points he included by himself and that's why I got them right. So one or two questions make a lot of difference. But so एक और चीज है, last day before the exam, एकदम exam से एक दिन पहले तेरे क्या thoughts थे?
So एग्ज़ाम के पहले it was a mixed feeling कि one thing was the feeling that it is the last day, इसके बाद hopefully I don't have to study anymore, and anxious भी था कि everything should go right tomorrow, ऐसे like that day so everything should go right, and उसके वजह से the mixed feeling के वजह से पढ़ना थोड़ा मुश्किल हो रहा था, but it helped that I had all the last minute revision topics ऐसे, so 10 days से I was making a list, the 20-30 points I jotted down. These were the points that I wanted to revise, like classifications from surgery, all the stress, mangled extremity score, and so all biochemistry tables and all that. So I had made a list, like he had shared my OBGY final management,
that was one
and
thing.
protein metabolism, and all the smell that they from the syndrome that they come. So you have to remember these things. So I had made a LMR sheet. So on the last day I revised just that and the 20th notebook to some extent, and I stopped studying at around 9 to 10 p.m. Barring all the FOMO, and luckily I had a good night's sleep, and then next day
you just have to be calm in this. Avoiding that FOMO is very difficult.
If you study a lot at night, then you cannot calm your brain. That you also have to get a good sleep.
Good sleep is very important, because just think about it. You prepared for 1 year so much, and now your exam is sabotaged because of your sleep.
So you have studied, trust yourself that कि you have studied, and जो भी पढ़ा है एक दिन में आप पूरा चेंज नहीं कर सकते आपका डेस्टिनी कि आपने क्या पढ़ा है, पूरा प्रेप नहीं चाहिए. सो बी काम कि जो एक साल से पढ़ा है दैट वुड बी हेल्पफुल.
कितना भी पढ़ा हो लास्ट डे पे वैसा लगता ही है, because I think even AIR 1 must be having that feeling that I can't tell.
Everyone has that anxiety वाला feeling.
So it is normal, there's no need to worry.
Just stop studying around 9 to 10 p.m. रात को 11-12 बजे तक तो पढ़ने की जरूरत है नहीं.
मेरा तो anxiety अलग था, like his center was in his place itself. My center was out of town, so I had to travel by car. तो मैं तो इतना था कि मैंने रिवीजन इन कार की लिस्ट बना रखी थी टॉपिक्स की, व्हाट टू रिवाइज इन द कार.
आल्सो मतलब यू हैव टू गो टू द प्लेस 1 to 2 days prior. You cannot travel वही दिन पे या फिर
especially if it's out of town, out of some.
Get accustomed to that place also.
And one more thing is कि सेंटर पे पहुंच के कैसा लगता है, right? Because some centers are pretty shitty, like they have shitty computers and वो काम नहीं करते, बंद पढ़ सकते हैं, वो भी एक चीज होती है.
So in this CBT also helps because it is a direct simulation. तो CBT में भी मेरा कंप्यूटर वर्क करना बंद हो गया था, तो मेरा नीट में भी अगर होता तो फिर I would have not panicked. So you don't need to panic. The time stops if your computer stops, and it starts again when you log into the test. Okay, so no need to panic at that moment. Ulta, you have a time to relax. So I think that is a boon that you get time to relax and think.
Being optimistic, right?
And during my exam, whenever I was getting anxious, I was telling myself to stay calm because मैं बोला था कि if I get anxious, then this exam would go to waste. So I was calming myself also. You have to talk to yourself also थोड़ा. That is important. Yeah.
In fact, during my exam, when my exam ended, it wasn't submitting. So I got a little scared. Like I hit the submit button, but it was just loading, and I was at the center for 10-15 minutes extra for that.
Oh, I didn't know.
ठीक है, होता है. एंड में सॉर्ट हो जाता है. बट मेरे दिमाग में वो चल रहा था कि सबमिट हुआ कि नहीं, इतना एग्जाम दिया.
Exactly.
बट हो जाता है. So one more aspect about preparation is कि enjoyment takes a backseat थोड़ा सा, right? And थोड़ा सा adjust करके सब पीछे छोड़ना पड़ता है. What was your scene regarding this?
Yeah, so sacrifice have to be made, but enjoyment is definitely possible. And I used to meet my friends, but I used to tell them कि यार मेरा इतना portion खत्म होगा, फिर ही मैं आऊँगा. You continue till that. And मैंने तो because I used to do Pomodoro, so sometimes I used to watch Netflix. So I completed the whole of Walking Dead season. So,
oh my god! Okay.
So you can do it, and then I used to draw something within half an hour space that I used to get every day.
तो dinner के time Netflix देखते हैं, like to save time.
Yeah,
used to combine it with
to
food. It's not very good, but okay.
Yeah, and I also had attended 2 weddings, and one was in my town only, and one I went to Gujarat. So I lost few days, but then it was unavoidable. So I covered it after coming back. थोड़ा GT scores में dip हुआ, but then if you cover it, then it's not a big deal. Like you can attend few events. Sacrifices have to be made, but you can attend the unavoidable
ones. So थोड़ा
you cannot be a hermit and
you will have to adjust थोड़ा सा कि come go have there like be there only for a while.
Yeah,
just leave early, but
you can do it. You should do it. थोड़ा freshen up हो जाते हो.
Yeah, because थोड़ा important है, burnout avoid करना is important. And let the viewers also know one more thing. What branch are you planning to take?
I am planning to take surgical branches, surgery और OPG. So rank matter नहीं करता है, जो करना है वो करो.
हाँ, ये एक चीज़ है, like you know they think top ranker को radiology लेना पड़ेगा. अरे तेरा rank अच्छा है, तू surgery भी ले रहा है.
I had to fight that notion, but take whatever you like. That is later thing, but it's advice from me.
So I think we've covered most of the things, right? Any closing thoughts that you have? Anything, any motivation you want to give the viewers?
I would say only 2 to 3 things. That trust yourself, and second big thing is enjoy the journey, because you are going to gain this knowledge which will obviously help you in your PG. कुछ तो याद रहेगा, not all the facts, but you will remember the concept. So enjoy this, take it as a journey of your medicine का career, and yeah, that's it. Trust yourself and don't stress out a lot. Take life in a chill way.
ये पीरियड ना ये बहुत ऐसे टॉक्सिक लग सकता है, घर बैठे बस पढ़ रहे.
Yeah.
लेकिन रेसिडेंसी में आके मजा भी बहुत है.
And after your exam you are getting so much free time that you जो भी इतने साल टाइम का स्ट्रेस था वो चला जाएगा. So you have your perks after achieving something. So that's great.
Right. So guys, that's it for this video. That's it for this interview. If you're also interested in watching my NEET-PG journey, I've made another video about it on my channel too. You can check it out if you want to. And I'll see you in the next video then. Bye bye.
So solving Q banks. पूरे एग्जाम में whenever I was getting anxious, I was telling myself जब तक सबकी लग गई है तब तक